Welcome, race fans, to ETV Live in the Phoenix International Raceway for coverage of round at number 2 of 36, the WSU Motorsports Quick Car Racing Products Cup Series. This is going to be exciting. 30-plus drivers getting ready to take the green flag for 125 laps around the 1-mile Phoenix International Raceway. Tim Terry, Adam Gilliland, Kyle Young to call all the action, John Westling pushing all the buttons to make sure we get on the air here this evening. And Adam, you know this B car like the back of your hand. What are these guys going to expect over 125 laps here tonight?
Well, 125 laps around the Phoenix International Raceway is going to be testing these guys' patience. It's a short track that drives like an intermediate track. It has very flat corners in both 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, and it's all about track position. And it's going to be about being out front, and if you can stay up front towards the end of this race, you're going to be hard to pass.
Definitely going to be a very interesting race here to watch tonight. Phoenix is always a very exciting racetrack for the spectators, and hopefully it puts on a great show for us here as well.
And a great league WSU Motorsports is. I've had the opportunity to work with them a couple of times, not only in their league but also on the late model championship side of things. Tad definitely has a grip on what it takes to put on a show here from an admin's perspective, and these guys are definitely going to shine at this Phoenix International Raceway. This is round number 2 of their series. They started 1 week ago, of course, at the Daytona International Speedway, and when they rolled out of Daytona, it was Avery McDonald in the number 70 car that took the victory. Dalton Baldwin was second, Justin Page third. You go on down the list, and you have familiar names here, Adam, that you're seeing on the list. Max Paquette finished in position number 6. Michael Senzi is another familiar name to me. Finished in position number 10. Randall Fox was 15th. Full field of drivers there, 36 strong. And once again, we have a full field here this evening. Points don't mean a lot after one round, but you can certainly get momentum after these first couple of races.
Yeah, no doubt. Points really, Daytona's a wild card, and you're not really looking to go there points racing. You're looking to get the checkered flag. But once you get to the second race, which is usually an intermediate track, that's when you start wanting to pile up the points and thinking big picture in the championship. Like you mentioned, the top 10 in points. You got Paul Madison, who finished 11th, Matt Lacrosse, who finished 12th, Earl Landry, William Collins, Randall Falks, and these guys, they're going to be competing here tonight at Phoenix, and this is when the championship hunt really begins.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, each and every race is always important for the points, and one bad race can always mess it up. But this is definitely the big green flag for the overall season, and this is where you're going to see a lot more points racing rather than drivers trying to go out and win the race.
Drivers are on the racetrack now for their qualifying session. In practice, it was Matt Lacrosse in the number 21 quickest, Justin Oxford second quick in practice. And actually, looking down the list here, guys, Oxford was a driver that almost didn't make the show. He was on the standby list. These guys have enough drivers each week that they have to have go or go home qualifying. And it looks like from this list here, 7 drivers did not make it into the show via go or go home qualifying. We're going to start 36, I believe, here this evening. There's a lot of guys that were trying to qualify for this show. Some of them disappointed before they even hit the racetrack, as we got some times coming in already from qualifying. I know ETV's own Dakota Ehrman was really fast in the practice session. We'll see where he shakes out in just a few moments' time. He was 4th in practice. William McCauley currently on the front row or on the pole right now at a 27.406.
Yeah, William was he was strong in practice as well. And you know what I'm looking at? I'm looking at the practice times. 1st through 30th was separated by just under 0.4 of a second. That is a very small time frame there, and that's going to make qualifying extra critical, because if you miss your corner by 2 or 3 feet, that's possibly 4, 5, 6 hundredths, and that's possibly another 10, 15 spots.
And that close time chart stays pretty true here in qualifying, as Jesus Andrade here, he's only 0.02 of a second off of the pole from William McCauley's 4.068. Jesus running a 4.08 in second place, and it's pretty tight all the way back down through there. It looks like the top 20 separated by about half a second.
I see Jeff Ramsdell just completed his run in the number 29 car in 4th place. Randall Falks is going to complete the top 5 right now, but they still have a few moments to get some times in on this session. I see your fastest driver in practice, Matt Lacrosse. That is the Quick Car Racing Products 21, was on the racetrack for lap number 1, and it looks like that lap will be botched. He hit the wall in corner number 2. He resets, and now he comes off pit road. But really, you know you have a fast car. Qualifying is going to be big here. He's only got 1 lap to really get it done now.
Yeah, he got the wall like you mentioned. It's going to be interesting to see if he can back up what he laid down in practice. If so, he won't have anybody touching him for this qualifying time. But he's going to have a strong car tonight if he can just get the starting position where he wants it. And he's in turn 1 right now. We'll have to see what he lays down.
Looking pretty smooth here through 2. Nearly got the wall as he runs down into 3. Drives in there really, really hard, trying to put his car up on the front row.
Pulls a 4:06. Let's see what he has here. Up at a 4 across the stripe, and the 21 is going to go to a 4:22, which is the exact time that he ran in practice, guys. It's going to be P3 for the number 21, and Matt Lacrosse at this point. Looks like these guys still have about 5 minutes or so in their session to run their time. Justin Oxford in the 16 was second quick in the practice session. I do not see a time for him on the clock right now. Tate Lytle is on the racetrack right now in the 97. He is on lap number 1. He's going to come up at a corner number 4, third quick in the practice session. In qualifying, he backs it up, does he? He doesn't get a time on lap number 1. He must have hit the wall there on the first lap. Adam, he's coming around for lap number 2. What are you seeing here?
Yeah, it's going to be a pretty slow second lap because with iRacing, the tires he's wrecking now. So it looks like he botched both laps, and he's going to be coming from the back. It's going to be testing his patience coming up through this field. But I want to go back to the number 1 car, who is currently first right now. Actually, the number 21. He's third quickest. He was fastest in practice. Talk about consistency. He backed up his practice lap to the 1,000th. That is consistency, and if he can stay consistent throughout this whole night, he'll be tough to beat.
Yeah, this is definitely a consistency-driven track. These flat tracks are very, very important on your rhythm, and to be fast and be consistent is a big key to get yourself into victory lane.
Do see the 08 car now on the racetrack. The Vodafone 08 is Travis Henderson. Henderson was 13th quick in practice, and that is going to be the fence in lap number 1, or the warm-up lap going in to corner number 3. He's going to have to reset and redo that. But Henderson looking to, if he backs up his qualifying time at a 5.97, that would put him around the 13th, 14th place that he practiced at. So Henderson looking to put up a time on the board. 29 have taken time so far in qualifying, and these guys are qualifying for the race coming up. 125 laps at Phoenix, set to go green in just a few moments' time. Henderson across the line now. He is on the clock.
Green flag for the number 08 of Travis Henderson as he sails it down into corner number 1. Runs the ideal line, gets a wee bit loose, but manages to keep it going. He's scrubbing off some speed there, but he's going to look like he's going to complete this lap as he heads down into corner number 3.
Car looks like it's a bit of a handful off of 2 and down the backstretch. Looks a little bit more stable here through 3 and 4. Going to bring it up off the corner. Keeps it clean and at the line. His first lap is a 27.857, which is good enough for 23rd.
Yeah, he's nearly 3/10 off what he practiced, and he's going to look for a little bit more here on lap number 2, 23rd. As we mentioned, the 31 cars, 2 take time so far, and he is going to abandon that lap on the back straightaway. So Henderson will have some work to do in the 08 as he will start in position number 23. I believe that's one of the last drivers on the racetrack, Adam. We're getting ready for pre-race festivities.
Yes, that will round out qualifying. We're going to set it down trackside for the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars
We are getting ready to go racing. Drivers beginning to grid. Let's go down trackside for the command to get this party started.
Gentlemen, start your engines!
Let's go down our starting grid for this evening's racing action, and it's the one of William McCauley on the front row with Jesus Andrade right beside him. Guys, 2 1,000ths of a second between your top two, 27.406 for the pole.
And a little bit more of a gap to your third place qualifier, Matt Lacrosse, on the number 21 machine, with Mark Walls in the number 9 to his outside in row number 2.
Maxime Paquette and his number 31 machine is going to round out the top 5 into his outside, and the number 29, that is Jeff Ramsdell.
Randall Falls rolls off from position number 7 to the outside. It's number 5, James Mullins.
The row behind him in the number 96 and 9th place, James Wenzel, with 30, Zach Godet, rounding out the top 5th row.
Inside of row number 6 is the number 8 car of Paul Madsen. To his outside, the number 54 of Dalton Baldwin.
We got the 86 of Brandon Knopfel going to start in position number 13. Slated to start 14th is Brandon Ping, but I don't see him on the grid, guys.
Rolling out 15th at number 92 will be Michael Senzi, with ETV's Dakota Ehrman to his outside in the number 7.
Terry Lane in the number 33 machine is going to roll off the grid here in the 17th spot, with the number 04 of Kenneth Reeder to his outside in 18th.
The Steel MX number 15 is Ryan Poole. He's going to start in position number 19, and completing your top 20 is Ryan Oates.
Shannon Segler in Faction Track Sim Chevrolet in 21st, with Matt Hoffman in the 40 and 22nd.
Travis Henderson's number 08 machine is going to roll off 23rd, with Alex Skinner in the 18, 24th.
Vincent Dorosky and Cordell Cologne, your next row.
William Collins at number 81, with Nolan Sutton to his outside.
Gary Gagne in the 03 will roll off 29th, with Clayton Cruz 30th in the 88.
We'll get to the rest of the field in just a few moments' time. We're going green with the one of McCauley. Putting the hammer down, we are underway for the first of 125 laps, and what a start for the one up in front.
He sailed it down into corner number 1, and it's stuck. Coming out of corner number 2, he's got 8 car lengths over number 36 of Jesus Andrade as they head down into corner number 3.
Single file through the first 4, side by side for 5th place. It's a 31 and the 29 as they head into turn number 3, still side by side. The 31 going to clear Maxime Paquette up into 5th.
And the 29 trying to find his footing loose at a corner number 4. Lets the 51 underneath the Randall Falks. Falks looking at Ramsdell for position at number 6 now as he tries to hold on to the spot. Outside line, Adam, not really the place to be by the looks of it right here.
Yes, outside line through turn 3 and 4 is definitely not the place to be. 1 and 2 you might be able to make it work a little bit, at least on the Cup car I know you could, as Randall Falks completes the pass with number 29. Jeff Ramsdell was trying not to give up the number 7 position over James Mullins as they head down to corner number 1.
Still struggling, cannot get back down to the bottom side. Mullins is going to clear. Looks like the number 30 of Zach Godet going to try and follow through. Ramsdell's under the wall, and around he goes.
And the 29 and 30 around in the back straightaway. This should be our first caution flag of the evening as the 29 of Ramsdell gets going again. Damage to the left-hand side of that race car. Godet behind him. I'm not seeing a whole lot of damage to that car, but I believe no, he did not get the wall on the inside. The only thing that he got was the 29 in front of him with that right front corner. So 2 drivers involved in this first incident as the field will slow down behind the first racing Ford Mustang pace car on lap number 4 of 125.
Zach Godet escaped with no damage. That was very lucky on his behalf. As Tim, I know you saw what happened in the Phoenix Pro race with Carson Downs when he went over that jump in the dog leg on the backstretch. It ended up a lot better than Carson Downs did.
Indeed it did, but still a tough break for these guys. Looks like there's a decent amount of damage to the left rear of the 29. Possibly got a little bit frustrated running on the outside, couldn't quite get down, and just overcooked, had a touched the wall and got into the 30, and around they went.
Yeah, as Adam was saying, if you hit that inside grass at the right angle, if you're sliding across that grass, you're going to go for a ride. Carson Downs, Harrison Weidelitz come to mind in that NASCAR iRacing.com Pro Series in the last couple of seasons that have either hit that grass or hit that berm wrong, and it sends the car for a ride, and more than likely that's going to end your night of racing. Looking back here at the back of the field, we have Brunel, Granger, Lytle, Miller, Trzynski, Ford, Page, Parrott, Landry, McDonald, and Oxford completing your field of starters that started 32nd on back this evening. And they will look to make some moves here early in this event, and it looks like they will make some moves, at least at this point, with those two drivers that were in that wreck, Ramsdale and the 30 of Gaudette having some issues. They are currently scored as 23rd and 25th, as I see Ramsdale on pit road, Gaudette on the racetrack down the back straightaway trying to catch up to the field.
Right now I've got my eyes on number 70 of Avery McDonald. He's actually way back in the 33rd position. He's actually the points leader going into this race, so he's definitely not where he wants to be right now. It'll be interesting to see if he can close some ground and get towards the front to the end of this race so he can maintain that points lead.
Yeah, Avery is he's a very fierce competitor, very competitive. I wouldn't doubt his chances here tonight. Definitely a good guy to keep your eye out.
And Daytona, a whole different beast compared to what Phoenix is. We'll see how he can handle those different tracks as we go forward here in this event. Currently scored in position number 29 of the 35 that started this race, Cordell Cologne, is shown as 4 laps down right now. Not sure if he had any sort of connection issue or something along the lines, but he is not on the racetrack right now, 4 laps behind the pace. The First Racing Ford Mustang pace car has William McCauley in tow. As the lights are still on, it looks like they will go off this time. Yes, they will. So we'll be going green next time. By field will begin to double up here.
As the field doubles up, they roll through corner number 1 and 2 at a very slow 55 miles an hour. That's the pace speeds here at Phoenix International Raceway. William McCauley pulled probably about 8-9 car lengths last time we got the green flag. It'll be interesting to see if he can pull back like he got a great jump last time around.
Indeed it will. He has control of the green flag start here, so should be a pretty easy attempt to get clear. And if he can repeat what he did on the first start here, he could be in control for quite a while if we stay green.
And I know these guys have a lot of green flag laps in them. It's just a matter of finding a rhythm and getting in it here for the next few laps. The First Racing Ford Mustang pace car is off, and the 1 is gone. Green flag flies, another flying start from McCauley, and the battle right now is for position number 2. Andrade trying to hold off the 21 and 9. Look at the run the 9 gets on the outside line. He will take 3rd away from Lacrosse.
He does. He completes the pass. He's looking for 2nd now in the number 36. He looks slow, doesn't know if the 36 gives him the lane. The 9 sends it down in there. He's at his door. They come out of corner number 4. He's trying to complete the pass. Can't quite do it.
Still side by side as they head to the line. Looks like Mark Walls has got the advantage into turn 1. Trying to clear, can't quite do it. Andrade going to try and get the run back up off of turn number 2, heading through the dogleg, side by side. Also behind them, the battle between the 21 and the 31.
Yeah, Paquette's been looking the last couple of laps on that number 21. He's going to take the spot away. Now the 51 of Randall Falk's going to put himself in this battle as the two battle side by side for a second. He's stacking up the train behind. Here comes the 9 of Waltz to position number 2. And now the Paquette machine on the inside. 31 looking at 36 for position number 3. 21 and 51 play chase.
The 31 gets under the number 36 machine. 36 machine's in a very vulnerable position right here on the outside lane. Can't find a lane down inside as the 9 completed the pass the corner before. Maximilian Paquette looks to take another position away from the number 36 as they head down into corner number 1 and 2.
Andrade trying to fit in line behind the 31. He will be able to do that off of turn 2. Started to look like he was about to fall into the same fate as Jeff Ramsdale there in the first run. A big wiggle from the 21 of Matt Lacrosse into turn 3. He hangs on, tries to close onto the rear end of Andrade. Can't quite do it, loses a little bit of time. Randall Falks looking to the inside down the front straightaway.
And here comes that 51 to the inside of Randall Falks. He's got the 5 of Mullins behind him. Ryan Oates also looking to pick up a pass as the 51 gets a little bit of a push at a corner number 2. 21 going to get the run off the corner. And the quick car, number 21, goes to the position for the time being as they run single file throughout your top 5. After all this has happened, William McCauley is out to 7/10 of a second on second place. It looks like the Waltz gained 2/10 of a second on that lap. Here comes the 9 on the 1.
The 9 did run 2/10 faster than McCauley that last lap. McCauley's been in his own zip code throughout practice and so far to start this race. So he gets a little wiggle down into corner number 3. The 9 car is starting to close the gap. He's going to try and get the lead here before too long.
Closing in, the leader looks to be that he's pulling away a little bit on the 31 Maximum Impact Cat behind him. Closes in another 3/10 that lap, just under 3/10 behind the 1 car. He continues to close as they head through the dogleg. He might have something for him here in about a lap or 2.
Yeah, he's definitely closed the gap to about a car length and a half now on the number 1. And McCauley has Walls as Walls comes up at a corner number 4, gets another great run down the front straightaway. 14 of the 125 complete it right there. And the 9 is there on the 1, looking on the back bumper of the number 1 car down the back straightaway. The 9 just looking for a place really to put that run that he has.
Keep a half eye on the number 69, the 18, and the 73, all battling for the number 19 position as we watch the battle for the lead. That's really the only side-by-side action we've got on the racetrack. The top 20 managed to stay single file as 19 through 21st battle side-by-side.
Side-by-side racing in the back, and they're starting to run side-by-side up towards the front again. Jesus Andrade trying to make something happen underneath of the 31. The 31 going to clear him into the dogleg and hold him off into turn number 3. Matt Lacrosse trying to get back to the rear end of the 36. He's got Randall Falks right behind him. A really nice 4-car battle here through positions 3 through 6.
9 poking the nose on the inside of the 1 and nearly gets up into the 1 going into corner number 1. McCauley on the outside. Walls going to have to put that run behind him right now as Walls had the run down the straightaway, just could not get that car to stick on the inside line, and now he has to regroup. He falls back to 3 car lengths. Now he closes into 1 car length. What a run he gets off corners 3 and 4. The 9 car at him definitely better in 3 and 4 than in 1 and 2.
No doubt. He's definitely the faster car right now. He just needs that clean air that the one it has right now to his advantage. The 9 car is definitely quicker. He needs to get that clean air if he wants to get the better feeling out front. As here he looks to the inside down into corner number 3. Cannot quite get his nose down in there. The number 1's doing a great job as they get real close. It actually bumps him a little bit, sends him forward 3 or 4 car lengths.
Trying to use the nose a little bit to move on by into the lead. Still quite early. Don't want to get caught up in a wreck too early into the race here. Still hard racing, and we got side-by-side for 3rd. Andrade trying once again to get around the 31 car.
Paquette on the outside line. He drives it in hard on the outside. The 36 trying to take that position away. 21-51. Also there as well of Lacrosse and of Falks. It gets back to single file racing. Now the 21 flashes the nose on the 36, and he sends him in corner number 1. Caution flag will fly as the 36 gets dumped by the 21 going into corner number 1.
The chrome horn was just used. Matt Lacrosse got into the back of the number 36 of Jesus Andrade. I don't know if Jesus is going to be too pleased with that one there, Kyle.
I don't think he will. We're just now at lap 20. They were doing some really hard racing there, and unfortunately Andrade was the one who got the worst of it. And not only that, but after the fact, Kenneth Reeder came sliding in there and made some contact. Curious to see what happened back there to cause him to slide up into the 36 car.
You know, we get this replay keyed up here. There was a lot of close calls. There was a lot of two-wide racing near the back of the pack. Guys trying to get around the spun car of the 36 up on that outside groove, but you see a car up there and you're too wide, and you try to judge the space between the car inside of you and the car on the outside of you, and you try to fit through that hole. Sometimes a little bit easier said than done, but guys, it looks like the 04 Raider just lost it going in, maybe locked the brakes up, going into corner number 1 and slid it on his own. The 15 is going to get into him after he started sliding, so add insult to injury as Ryan Poole gets into the spinning Kenneth Reeder car. We got cars on pit road right now as it's a very busy place down there on lap number 22.
Very busy it is, as the 04, who just suffered damage, he might want to take some brake bias down after locking him up and sliding into the wreck. He might want to take down his brake bias, or actually, for that matter, go up on it so he can get on the brakes without locking him up and sending them sideways.
A tough mistake for Mark Wallace. He just overshoots his pit stall, as well as it looks like the number 21 of Matt Lacrosse. Both of those drivers running inside of the top 5 that last run. That's going to hurt them a little bit on time. They overshot their pit stalls.
And guys, your leader is still sitting on pit road. William McCauley has not left his box yet, and he is going to lose a bunch of time. Max Paquette is going to win the race off pit road, but the big story here, we mentioned Mark Walsh overshooting his box. The 1 car now rolls away, as I don't think he had any damage to that race car. He was out in front of the field. I'm not quite sure what the plan is there.
Yeah, I didn't see any contact with the wall or any other cars. Possibly some technical difficulties. We'll have to look into that. But right now, Gary Gagne will receive the lucky dog and get his lap back. He's actually 1 lap down, so he's the Aaron's lucky dog, or the I-dog, and he'll be back on the lead lap.
Looks like a bit of strategy came into play for the top 5 drivers. I believe the top 5 out on the track right now stayed out and did not pit. Those drivers would be the number 40 of Matt Hoffman, Tad Granger, Alex Skinner, Michael Senzi, and Brendan Offel, all staying out under this caution, and they will lead the field down to the green flag once we get the one to go.
And we saw this in the Sprint Cup Series race a little bit earlier today, where a lot of drivers stayed out on an early caution. They got a caution about 20 laps later, 25 laps later, and it helped them as the first racing Ford Mustang pace car lights are out. Next time by, we're going green. It looks like Hoffman's going to take the outside line in this restart. We saw that play out for some drivers. We'll see how it works here within the sim. As you mentioned, a lot of those drivers running outside the top 15. Then you got Max Paquette, you got James Mullins, Ryan Oates behind, drivers that were running up front. This could be very interesting very quick in this restart.
Interesting indeed. The guys in real life in today's Phoenix race didn't really have the same conditions we have here. They had a very smooth track that had just recently got repaved, to where iRacing, we're currently running on the old configuration and the old track of Phoenix, and it wears the tires a lot quicker than it does in real life. So, like you said, Tim, it'll be interesting to see if he can hold them off right here as they're coming to the green flag.
Matt Hoffman, your leader, looks to choose the outside line for the restart here. Pace car is going to duck down into pit road. Hoffman looking for the green flag. There it is. He pulls away. He's got a clear lead. Green flag is back out on lap 25.
And the outside line goes with Senzi now, going to take position number 2, 46. On the inside, gets up into the 18, going to shove the 18 up the track, and here comes Max Paquette. Paquette is going to bring Ryan Oates along with him as Granger in the number 46 tries to slot in the line here. 36 wants to boot him out of line again. 38 to the inside as he will pick up the spot on the 46.
The 86 of Brendan Knopfel runs 6th place. Caution flag on the racetrack. I'll have to see where that's at. Don't quite know where that's at. Oh, big trouble out of corner number 4. We'll have to get John pull up a replay.
Looks like involved in the crash was the 97 of Tate Light. Looks like he made some contact with the number 69 machine of Nolan Sutton and send those guys around. Actually, it looks like there was a chain reaction there. It looks like the 73 car of Kevin Trzynski, he looks like he got a little bit loose and caused a checkup for the 69, and Lytle didn't really have anywhere to go.
Yeah, it starts really with number 12, Shannon Segler, as Shannon goes up the racetrack and right into the marbles, and 73 tries to get on the binders to avoid. He comes back down into the lane of the number 69. 69 gets loose into the 97, and it goes on from there. So one car gets out of the groove, everybody tries to check up and avoid, and you have a couple of cars go around in that. Ramsdale in the number 29, I believe, was right in the middle of that. I'm not sure if he got any damage from it. I don't think that he did. That might be a good onboard, John, to follow through with the number 29 car, as he has cars spinning in front of him, cars spinning behind him, cars in the wall on the front straightaway as they try to get going. Ramsdale gets through it. If he can come out of here with a top 10 finish, that's definitely going to be the move that gets him there.
You mentioned Ramsdale, the 29. He was involved in an earlier wreck that brought, I believe, the first caution. He had a great avoidance there. But I was watching the 03. He actually, like a previous wreck, looped it, checking up for the wreck. Didn't hit anything, but what I'm noticing is, we got retaliation under caution. He just hit the 15. The 03 did, of Gary Gagne, the previous Lucky Dog. But I was watching him, and he just lost it, kind of like the previous caution. These guys are probably running really low brake bias to get the thing turning down into the corner, and that's making them suffer a little bit, avoiding these wrecks.
Yeah, and everybody says that when you're slowing up for a wreck, it's better to slow up and hit the brakes. And unfortunately for some of these guys doing that, they're looping their cars around and getting caught up in the crash themselves. So it's a tough break here, and hopefully they can do some sort of adjustments to these cars where they can stop doing that and hopefully avoid these crashes and be able to contend later on in the race.
Guys that love it up front include Matt Hoffman, Michael Senzi, two drivers that stayed out on the caution period that everybody else came down onto pit road. They will lead your field back to green with Max Paquette in position number 3, Ryan Oates 4th, and Alex Skinner in position number 5, so it looks like it's worked out for some. The 46 car of Granger, who was a little slow on that restart, it looks like he's come down pit road, guys, in position number 24. It may be a good thing, but the worst thing for that is he's back where he was before that caution. He's back in that hornet's nest where everything is beginning to happen back there. It can be a tense little time when you're sitting back around 20th place and there's cars all the way around you and you're not really sure what they're going to do.
Yeah, no doubt. It'll absolutely test your patience. I can attest to that. Being back in the field at a short track like this, and especially with the amount of cars we've got in the race, it's really testing just to keep your head cool and just know that you're going to have to miss the wrecks. And if things go wrong, that you could possibly be involved in a wreck, because it's very easy to be in a wreck here. The 46 came down pit road, got 4 tires, like you mentioned. Hopefully he'll be able to get his way up to the front because he has a fast race car.
Nothing changes up front. Matt Hoffman going to lead these guys back down to the green flag. He once again chooses the outside, but he's got that 92 of Michael Senzi to his inside this time. Maxime Paquette, Ryan Oates, and Alex Skinner, your top 5 pace car, into the pits. Green flag is out. Hoffman with a great restart. He's got about 3 car lengths back to the 92 as I head into 1.
They dive it into corner number 1. Watch that number 31 on new tires as he tries to get up there. Ryan Oates as well, picking his way through the field. He came down pit road on that caution flag as the 31 moves underneath the number 92 of Senzi. We got 1 car back there doing the Christmas tree dance, the 86 and awful, as he's had some problems with his connection by the looks of it. Speaking about problems, the 40 has problems behind him. 38 going for the lead as Ryan Oates looks like he'll fall back. Do we have a caution on the Speedway? Yes, we do.
We have trouble in corners 3 and 4. Alex Skinner and the number 33 involved. Terry Lane involved as well as the 32 is involved as well. Also, your leader before he had the overshooting problems, Mark Wall's involved as well. We'll have to get John to queue up a replay. Pretty significant contact for quite an abundance of cars.
Another tough break here in 3 and 4. These guys running very close together here on these restarts, and one small mistake can trigger a massive problem. And we saw that here once again with the number 18 of Alex Skinner. It looks like he got loose and then made some contact with a 5 and overcorrected out into the wall, and then it was on from there.
This is the second time I'm going to say this. This isn't a broken record, but let's see maybe if John can get another replay with Jeff Ramsdale because he dodged another bullet there in corner number 3 and 4. He had car spinning in front of him, and just behind him where he went through the hole closed up for Gaudette as Gaudette tried to go through, and the 30 car is going to have some right side damage after getting impacted by one of the spinning cars, and I believe that may have been the 32 entry of Vavrosky as he came down the racetrack into the number 30 car. The 08 involved as well, heavy damage. The 04 involved in another incident here this evening, and the 8 car, not sure where exactly he was going, but he ran into it. Hit the stop car there, the number 32, so he's going to have damage to his number 8 car, as there will be a lot of cars on pit road, as there are right now, getting damage repaired after this caution on lap number 30.
And Kyle, you can probably attest to this better than I can, but watching those previous two wrecks on board with Jeff Ramsdale, he might want to leave the track right after this race and head straight to Vegas instead of back to North Carolina, because he's on a hot streak right now, and he might want to cash in while he's hot.
Yeah, absolutely. He ran into a little bit of a trouble earlier in the race, but obviously being back there isn't too much of a risk. So far, he's been able to avoid the crashes, and looks like he's up to 12th place right now. So he's slowly making his way back through the field, avoiding these wrecks, and I don't believe his damage is bad enough. If he can get back up there, I'm sure he can contend for a pretty good finish.
Should have the lights go at this time by. The interesting thing on this restart is Matt Hoffman will not have Senzi to the inside of him, assuming that he takes the outside line. He has guys now that have new tires or had new tires, and we went green after that caution where everybody else came down pit road. We haven't had a whole lot of green flag racing for those tires to work in, so there still might be a little bit of an advantage here as the lights go out. 38 of Oates going to line up on the inside. Paquette will line up on the inside of row number 2. So the 40 car, if he doesn't get going, he's got those guys on the inside with 4 new tires. Oates and Paquette could really capitalize here on this restart.
Yeah, absolutely, they can. But real quick before we go back green as the lights are out on the pace car, I want to mention that earlier today in NASCAR's broadcast, they had a little bit of a interesting quick fact about Phoenix, that majority of the wrecks happen in 3 and 4, as we've seen proven true this race. In the last 6 years in the real life, they had 17 wrecks in corners number 3 and 4, and so far today it's proven worthy in this iRacing sim as well.
Realistic in not only the driving abilities, but in the location of crashes as well. A very interesting statistic there coming true to life here in the sim. Pace car ducks down onto pit road. Hoffman for the 3rd time going to lead the field on the outside. Can't quite escape as well as he has before, but still able to clear. Maxime Paquette all over the rear end of the number 38 of Ryan Oates as they head into 1.
Yeah, the 38 tried to go, anticipating the 40 to go. He had to back off a little bit to make sure he did not get a black flag for jumping the start. As the 31 of Max Paquette looking at the 38 now for position number 2. Senzi is there as well. 38 closes in on the 40 as Hoffman will come up out of corner number 4. He will lead the 35th lap of the 125, but a great run by the 38. Does he do it into corner number 1? Yes, he does. Throws it in on the inside, does Oates. And Oates will look for the lead. Max Paquette right behind him. 38 might want to get this move done fairly quickly if he can do it, because the 31 is bearing down behind him.
Absolutely, he is. He actually has fresher tires than the last 2 leaders, who stayed out the previous caution for that as one car smacks the wall on 3 and 4. We've got a battle for the lead. 38 can't quite get it done. Here comes a 31. Oh, he blocks him a little bit. He's not going to be too happy with that one. Maxime's not, as they head through turns 1 and 2. Gets a little bit loose, the number 38 does. Trying to complete the pass. They make it, and they go through the kink in the backstretch.
Some really hard racing and some really close calls. Wow, Ryan dives it down in there, and so does Max Paquette. They both clear the number 40 car of Matt Hoffman, and off of turn 4 is going to be Ryan Oates to lead lap number 37. Paquette looking to the inside in turn number 1. He's going to try and head to the front. Still trying to make it work. Can't quite get it done. A big wiggle from the 38. He hangs on. Paquette clears to the lead.
Close call there at a corner number 2 for the 38 and 31 as Paquette will go to the lead, and the 40 will give a little shot to the 38 as he gets up into the FedEx office. Number 38 coming into corner number 3, the 40 car will look to take position at number 2 away, but here comes the 5, another strong competitor, James Mullins. Mullins looks to get into this battle for position number 2 as Paquette begins to inch away with the lead position here on lap number 39.
The 5 looks on as these two battling. There's another guy looking on. That's Maxime Paquette. Watching these two guys laughing as they race side by side. He's beginning to drive away. The 5 car is running the BR line, tries to get around the 40. Those old tires are starting to prevail, or are starting to come in and be a factor over this long run.
Indeed they are, as he loses yet another position. He's back down to 4th. James Mullins clears him on the outside. Single file through about the first 9 or 10 cars, and then we're side by side back a little further into the field. These guys starting to calm down and race it out a little bit, trying to get a green flag run and see what these guys can do.
Your leader is Max Paquette by a half second over Ryan Oates. Oates and Paquette are trading quick laps up in front of this field. 3rd place is now Mullins. Hoffman has found his way to 4th. The battle is around 6th place here as the 54 on the inside of Dalton Baldwin and the 86 on the outside of Awful. This is the battle for positions number 7, 8, and you had Falks and Seigler into the mix as well. 2 cars ahead of them as well of Lacrosse and Senzi. Great battle here for 5th on back as the 86 on the outside, and now the 51 on the outside, 54 trying to hold his own.
54 is trying to complete the pass to number 86. Can't quite get it done. Brandon Alfel holds the position. Some great side-by-side racing throughout the Phoenix International Raceway. 51 looks on. He's actually trying to capitalize on the 54 being a little bit loose on the bottom. Tries running the outside. Can't not quite compete the pass as they race side-by-side out of corner number 4. They touch. Oh, that's going to be a wreck. He's going to come back out on the track. Nope. Caution's out. He manages to keep it as a 1-car wreck.
Hard racing once again prevails, or well, not really prevails, but causes another caution off of turn number 4. Very close racing here in the beginning portion of this race, but these guys can't quite keep it off each other, and we're under yellow once again.
As these guys go side by side, and the 54 kind of had to be maybe a little bit frustrated, maybe a little impatient with those guys passing on the outside line. Tough racing. 54 goes around, and damage to both ends of the race car. Max Paquette will lead this field. We'll stay with this and maybe go to a break following the pit road opening here, see if any guys do decide to come down pit road. But Paquette and Oates have shown that they're pretty strong here. McCauley, your early leader, guys, is back in position number 22, so we'll see what happens here with pit stops.
Pit road's open, and I imagine most of the leaders, if not the whole field, will come in and take this opportunity to get 4 tires in Sunoco. I'm watching Maxime Paquette, see if he wants to take no risk and take 4 tires, or take 2 and possibly have the risk of getting loose.
The majority of the field heads down into the pits. Looks like a couple guys stayed out, but most of them heading down into pit road.
Nearly a dozen cars here stay out on the racetrack, but it is the 31 of Paquette getting service on his race car. 4 tires in the number 31. Waiting for the jack to drop on the left-hand side. He is down and away. Here comes the 96 on the outside of him. Going to be a close drag race off, but it will be the number 31 winning the race off pit road. 96 must have taken 2 tires. He comes off in second. Ryan Oates, Knopfel, and Falks, your top 5. James Mullen stays out. He is your leader. We're going to step away for just a few moments' time, and we'll be back to Green Flag Racing here on ETV Live in just a few moments' time with the WSU Quick Car Racing Products Cup Series.
InsideSimRacing.tv, the fastest show on the internet. Sim racing news and reviews since 2007, with new shows every week.
Plus other listeners where you could hear everything from big 80s metal to classic rock and roll, country radio, ETV, live sports radio, even adult and unplugged rock and roll. HDRadioNetwork.com, one of the fastest growing internet radio networks, HDRadioNetwork.com. Take it with you, cowboy. Get the mobile app for Android, iPhone, iPad, and all the rest from TuneIn.com.
Welcome back to Phoenix Pace Car Inn. James Mullins is your leader. Top 7 on old tires. Green flag flies, and look at the start of the inside by Matt Lacrosse. Lacrosse already to the inside of Hoffman. Side by side as he hooks at the 5 for 3 wide. 40 loose on the outside. Oh, these guys are getting exciting off corner number 2.
Trouble, big junk, turn 1 and 2. Looks to be the 03, the 3 car among a few involved. Also, Zach got that, and the number 30 involved. Looks to escape with minimum damage, but some great racing for the lead. I don't know what happened exactly with the wreck in the back, but we're going to have to get a replay queued up just to find out what happened.
Another quick run here as trouble breaks out in turn number 1, trying to figure out what exactly happened towards the back of the pack, I believe is where problems started.
It was Gary Gagne going around all on his own. Already damaged race car for the 03, and we've documented some of his trials and tribulations here this evening. Gagne on the outside line around all by himself. Maybe too much brake bias cranked into that car. The 3, nowhere to go. And the 30 car, I think, Adam, and you've seen this before in your race car, there's really no place to go. You don't really see anything happening in front of you. You got traffic in front of you. You think, okay, we know there's cars spinning. I go to the inside line. It'll be clear before I get there. Not the case for the 30. He runs into the 3, and it is a 3-car incident as the caution flag will fly yet again. And we have 3 torn-up race cars. Gagne is on pit road. The 30 is on pit road, and I believe the 3 is down there as well of Nick Parrott.
Yeah, there was nowhere to go for number 30. You can look back on it and say, I could have done this or I could have done that, but ultimately he had a car right in front of him with smoke, and he made it the judgment to go low, and unfortunately got involved in the wreck and sustained heavy damage. But that's just part of the deal when you race. Sometimes you're lucky enough to miss it, and sometimes you're unfortunate to get involved in it.
Indeed, and once you pick your one shot to try and get around it, and when that fails and that hole closes up, it's you're pretty much hanging on for the ride, and hopefully it isn't as bad as it'll seem. And that definitely happened here with a couple of drivers.
Big car of Paul Madsen going to get the eye-dog here. He'll be back on the lead lap in 27th place. We have 27 now scored on the lead lap of this event of the 35 that did take the green flag. Let's look at your top 10 here, and it's a little bit different looking top 10 from the last time we talked about a top 10 rundown, because there was cars that stayed out on that last caution flag. James Mullins, Matt Hoffman, top 2. I don't think Hoffman has come down pit road at all in this race. If he did, it was early in the race. The last 2 major cautions where everybody did see pit road, he did not. Matt Lacrosse in the 3rd. Ted Granger going to be in position number 4, Travis Henderson 5th, Mark Walls in 6th, Max Paquette in 7th. He's made his way up a couple of spots. Ryan Oates in 8th, Terry Lane in 9th, and James Wenzel completing your top 10. And we did see on the restart, Adam, the 5-car had the advantage. The 21 followed him through. 5-car pushes up the racetrack a little bit, and that's all the 21 needed. He poked his nose in the inside, and we almost saw a wreck up there for the lead.
Yeah, it was a very close call between the 21 and the 40. It was a wad of 3 cars right there going for one spot, and the 5-car came out with the lead ultimately with the lights out on the pace car. That's signaling that we'll be going green next time by. So James Mullins and, like you mentioned, Matt Hoffman, he has not pitted this race, at least not from what I've seen, and he's going to have to be on pit road in the next 30 laps sometime in that time frame, or he's going to be out of gas.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing that he's been able to last this long on the tires, let alone the gas. I mean, you figure that we're 52 laps into this race, thinking that those sneakers underneath him are getting a little worn. But the pace car is on the pits. We are green flag racing. A great start for James Mullins. Lacrosse got a good one, too. He's going to think about maybe going low. Nope, he's going to stay in line. Hoffman to the outside. Close quarters between those two guys. They stay off each other side by side, and the 08 is spinning behind him.
Big junk off corner number 2, the 08 involved, and everybody else behind not slowing up. The 04 slides in about 8 lengths after the caution happens, and we got 5 or 6 more that decided that they weren't going to use the brake pedal. Their caution flag will fly, and Travis Henderson's car is junk.
And Tim, I believe we call that ARCA brakes by a few of these machines. 54 did actually a phenomenal job of checking up, and he escaped with minimal damage, but the 04, the Holiday Inn Express Chevrolet, like we mentioned earlier, with the brake bias all the way down on these things, cannot really stop, and he just overcorrects and backs it into the number 54 in the Kyle Busch-looking Monster Energy machine.
Yeah, that's a tough break when one car in front of you makes a slight mistake. It's you got to have a good reaction time to be able to slow up and miss this stuff, and unfortunately that was not the case here. These guys getting involved in yet another crash, another quick run here. Hopefully some of these front runners might think about making a pit stop, but with all these last 2 cautions coming towards the rear end of the field, they might not want to do that. Might not want to get caught up in all this.
Looking at the replay here, I know Max Paquette and the 08 of Henderson are having some interesting conversations within the server, and you see the 08 get loose. Max Paquette really has nowhere to go, and slowed up a little bit, but keep in mind he can't slow up a whole lot because he has Ryan Oates behind him, and I'm sure Ryan Oates doesn't really know what's going on in front of him. He sees the 31 try to stick it maybe 3 wide. I'm looking at the in-car cam from Ryan Oates right now. It looks like he might be trying to stick it 3 wide as the 31. Maybe doesn't see the 08 get loose. So if the 31 checks up, more than likely Ryan Oates is going to be in behind him, and he almost got in behind him after the fact when they went by the 08. So it's a really tough situation from these race cars when you're really not sure what that guy in front of you is going to do.
Yes, the uncertainty there arises, and you got to know what's going to. Oh, the 30. Sorry, I was watching the 30 car. He got in a little hot under caution, but I don't really know what a few guys were thinking in that wreck, but some of them made questionable moves.
Looks like the number 31 car of Max Paquette is going to be going to the rear of the field for the restart. That is going to be an interesting battle to follow. See him trying to make his way back up through the field. He was running out towards the front, and he has a really good car underneath of him, Tim.
And I know the race director, Ted Granger, was on the microphone there talking to the drivers in the server, and I didn't catch exactly what he said, but when you put Max Paquette at the rear of a field like this, and I've seen him before in a couple of late model races and different races in the past, it makes for an interesting race because Paquette is one of those drivers that sometimes isn't as patient, I guess is the word, to come through a field. 57 laps into a race. We're not even to the halfway point in the race yet, so these guys need to use a little bit of patience at this point in this event. Lights are off. We're going green this time by. Mullins and Hoffman are on the front row.
Yeah, Mullins will once again lead the field to the green flag. Hopefully the guys settle down, get into a rhythm, and we can get some green flag racing. Because these guys are definitely capable of it. It's all about putting it together as the pace car is about ready to pull off, and we're about to get ready to go green flag racing. The pace car ducks in. The 5 has not gone. He's away. He's 3-4 car lengths ahead as they head down into corner number 1.
Good start for the number 5, Matt Lacrosse, and the 21 going to try and sneak it underneath to the 40. Can't quite do it. The 40 gets a great run through the center of the corner, and coming off of turn number 2, he's going to challenge for the lead. Looks like Lacrosse maybe kissed the wall just a smidge. He's going to keep it straight. The 40 car going to pull it up into the lead on the outside, still side by side as they come off of turn 4.
We've seen Hoffman earlier on restarts use that outside line, and he drives it to the lead. Mullins now has the 21, and here comes the 9 of Mark Walls. Early leader to the inside of the 21 of Lacrosse for position number 3. Watch the 5 as he works the 40 for the lead position. 38 involved in this battle as well. He sits in position number 5 as the 5 to the inside of the 40. Side by side for the lead here at Phoenix. We come up at a corner number 4. We have 59 complete. Drag race to the line. The 40 going to lead it. 40 barely edges the number 5 for the lead right there. As the 40, I don't know how, but is managing to stay up front and contend for the lead each and every lap with virtually no tires left on that car. James is going to look down into the inside as he's still going to be there. He cannot quite get clear of the number 40. He slides up a little bit. They manage to stay clean, don't touch. He's going to try and clear the number 40 machine. Gets a little loose. Wee bit loose, cannot complete the pass as they head down to corner number 1.
Side by side, 3 rows back. The number 9 car, Mark Wall, starting to work his way towards the lead here. He almost got into the back of James there in turn number 2. Looks like James is finally going to be able to clear the number 40. And now the number 9 going to try and look underneath of him. He's going to make an attempt. Can't quite squeeze underneath him yet. Close quarters. Everybody clean and green so far. Great racing up front for the lead and the top 5 positions here. Just like you, Adam, I cannot believe how this 40 car is able to... Whoa, pedal! Just as I said it, he gets a little bit loose and hangs on.
Yeah, 40 tried to slam the door the last time by there, but the 9 had his foot in said door. The 21-51 going at it back here as well as the 9 goes to the outside line of the number 40. 38. Now, where does Ryan Oates go? Oates looking at the outside line. The 21 behind him going to look at the inside of the 38 as the 21 car. Matt Lacrosse tries to make another move. Randall Falks in the number 51. Now to the inside of the 21. Side by side at position number 5 is Randall Falks. Looks to make up one more spot.
The racing somewhat settled down over the previous few laps where they've been side by side 3 deep. It finally begins to settle single file. The 51 just gets clear of the number 21 of Matt Lacrosse. Single file pretty much throughout the top 10 now, as our first real battle actually comes back for 12th position between the number 69 of Nolan Scott and the 54 of Dalton Baldwin, who was involved in the last caution.
Caution flag is out once again. We have a problem somewhere on the racetrack. I'm going to try and figure out where that might be here real quick.
Looks like it's the 81 and 27 getting together, guys, going into corner number 1, and it looks like they had it collected, but the flag man figured we're going to throw the caution flag anyway. 27 was halfway, sideways, gets it collected, saves it, but that will bring the caution flag out. The 81 is William Collins, and the 27 car that was spinning down to the corner is Brandon King. So those two will be the honorary bringing out the caution recipients, I guess we can call it there, as the pace car will collect the field once again, as it will collect the leader of the race, James Mullins, and a great move that Mullins made to take away the lead. A lot of these guys pointing towards the apron. We could see some more pit stops here at around this halfway point in this race.
And possibly we might see the 40 car make a move. Yep, he finally goes down pit road. As the majority of the leaders do, we had a few stay out, starting with the 38 car, but most of the leaders on pit road, including the number 40, who have not seen take tires, or any fuel for this matter through this race. He's been strong without tires. It'll be interesting to see now with tires what he can really do.
Quite impressive. He lasted 65 laps on one set of tires. Finally going to come in and get a new set underneath of him. He'll be back towards the rear of the field here, but he'll have some fresh rubber on, and like you said, it'll be definitely interesting to see what he can do. Working his way through the field, and it looks like he is going to... Nope, the number 9 car beats him out of the pits.
So Mark Wald will win the race off pit road, but looking at the front of this field, we have about 10 drivers or so that came down or stayed out and checked that on the racetrack, led up by Ryan Oates in the number 38. The one thing I am seeing here, guys, is that number 40, before he came down pit road, he started this race way back in position number 22, so you'd have to believe that the moves that he made were track position moves, but keep in mind, we had at least one caution at him where there was a lot of guys up in front. They came down pit road. 40 didn't follow them. So call it track position, call it maybe a little bit of strategy to see what he can do. He has split this race up in half. Now we are in the second half of this race. He knows what the car did in the first half. Now he knows what the car can do and is capable of in the second half of this race.
He might have planned that. You can't really plan when the cautions are going to fly, but maybe he had a game plan going in that, hey, I'm not going to pit until we get halfway so I can not pit the rest of the way and force some of these other guys to have to pit if they want to keep up with him on tire strategy. But he's probably the furthest he's been back in the field tonight, sitting in 10th position after they cross the line. It'll be interesting to see if he can climb his way back up to the front, because he's got a really strong race car in the number 40 Wolf Motorsports Chevrolet.
Definitely going to be exciting to watch him progress back through the field. As I'm seeing here, we're running under caution. Looks that ATV's own Dakota Erman cracks into the top 5 for the first time here tonight as the field gets the 1 to go. They're going to double up. Ryan Oates going to elect to take the outside line. We've seen a couple of drivers take the outside line, and it really hasn't been that bad of a choice for him.
And looking at the field here, it looks like Jesus Andrade was black flagged. Under this caution flag, he runs right now in position number 12, so we'll see if he has to come down and serve that. We have some drivers up in the front half of the field. Top 8 did not come down pit road. By what I'm seeing here, it's Oates, Falks, Erman, Ramsdell, Senzi, McDonald, your Daytona winner. And then we have guys like Mullins and Trozinski completing your top 8. Then we have Walls, Hoffman, and the rest of the field that came down onto pit road. So we have 8 drivers up in front that are going to be looking to make some noise here on this restart. The first racing Ford Mustang pace car getting ready to head to the safety of the infield. He pulls left here and leaves the field in command of Ryan Oates. Green flag flies. Great start for Oates. And now the 51 and 29 Ramsdell dodged all the excitement behind in the rear of the field. Now he looks at second on the 51.
He does. He cannot quite complete the pass as the 51 takes over the second position. Ryan Oates has a 6-7 car length lead over Randall Falks, as they say, single file for the first 7 or 8 cars.
Oh, Avery McDonald pushed it into turn number 3 just a little too hard. He's going to open the door for the number 92. He looks to sneak on by, and he's going to get in line. We have a spin towards the back. It's the 36 machine of Jesus Andrade.
Jesus got tagged coming on to pit road to serve that black flag. I believe we are still under the green flag here as he got spun. No caution lights are on, so we are going to be under the caution flag here. But Andrade got tagged. Guys coming on to pit road. He's going to hit the barrels and heavy damage to the number 36 car.
Yeah, heavy damage. He actually led a few laps, Andrade did, and now his car is, in the virtual sim world, junk. So he's going to need to come down pit road and get some of them repairs. He's actually got the meatball flag. iRacing didn't score him the last time by, so he's going to take that number 36 Ford EcoBoost down pit road.
Tough break for that number 36 machine. He looked to have a pretty strong car at the beginning of the race, and then got caught up in that one spin earlier on, and it just pretty much spelled disaster for the rest of his night. And he might have quite the lengthy repair here in pit road. Looks like that car is beat up quite a bit.
Yeah, he had an Edmund-issued black flag on that last caution period, so that's why he was coming down onto pit road to serve that. The 96 car was the one that ended up tagging him, and you'd have to believe that there's a little bit, I like to call it spatial awareness, and we see it Wednesday nights on ETV Live with the Maritime iRacing League with some of those drivers that might be new to the simulation or really need to know who they're racing with, is spatial awareness. James Wenzel, I'm not sure if Jesus told the field, hey, I've got a black flag, I've got to come down pit road, might not have told those guys around him, I've got to come down. The 96 did not let up as he was going to race the 36 for the spot, and he tags the 36, and the 36 goes around and into the barrels. He has since disconnected from the server, so the night is done by the looks of it for the number 36.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks like a bad communication on his behalf to not let the field know that he was pitting, and it actually didn't give too many people too many bad damage. James Wenzel got a little bit of a piece of it. We've got right now 26 cars on the lead lap, 25 now that Andrade has just gone a lap down. So the field quickly diminishing. It'll be interesting to see how many people will have the lead lap come the end of this thing. We have 69 complete, so that looks like 55 to go.
55 to go and still 25 cars in the lead lap. That's quite a good amount. Still a very competitive race, and it should be interesting to see how this one plays out towards the end. We've seen some pretty good racing action so far throughout this race, but marred a little bit by some cautions, and hopefully things will get cleaned up and we'll see some great racing towards the end of this thing.
And while we are under the caution flag here on lap number 73, Adam, there's a lot of partners here on ETV Live that help us get these broadcasts out on the air.
Yeah, certainly there is. We're going to start off with Bob Earl Racing Seat, a simulation racing cockpit designed by championship race car driver Bob Earl. Who better than a real race car driver to design a simulation racing cockpit? As a former race car driver, Bob Earl knows what it means to be comfortable in the cockpit. The design features a fully adjustable seat and frame, additional monitor stand, and shifter mount sold separately. Proud sponsor of the 2013 RSR Full Throttle Cup Series, a high-quality and affordable virtual racing cockpit priced at just $349 plus shipping. See it at www.bobearlracing.com. Order one today. Also, another proud sponsor of ETV is Gary Mercer Trucking. Dude, if your pickup truck is too small for the load, get a real truck to haul it. Sponsoring drivers in several iRacing official series, Gary Mercer Trucking Inc. provides long and short haul options for hauling furniture, perishables, even refrigerated products, and a whole lot more. With storage facilities in the U.S. and Canada, CTPAT approved, and fast express drivers, Gary Mercer Trucking is the best choice to haul your load. Give the old pickup a rest. Call Gary Mercer Trucking Inc. 800-668-2980. Once again, 800-668-2980, or check it out at gmercer.com.
Green flag flies. 38 is leading the field down into corner number 1. It's now the 51 of Randall Falks in position number 2. It's side by side for third as Ramsdale has Dakota Ehrman to the outside. Ehrman gets the wall off corner number 2. Looks like it doesn't hurt him a whole lot though, Adam, as we slow down. 29 gets into line here. The 7, it's going to stack up some guys behind here. Avery McDonald on the outside.
Yeah, stack up indeed. Avery McDonald finally gets placed in line. As I'm going to go up a little bit further. In fact, ETV Dakota Ehrman, he completed the pass on Jeff Ramsdale, who has made a nice recovery from the first yellow he got involved in, getting loose out of corner number 2. He's rebounded nicely, and he's steadily in the top 5 and 4th.
And look back here at the 70, the 5, the 92. With that move, it stacked up as we have a battle for the lead once again, as here comes Falks to the back end of the number 38 of Ryan Oates as they go single file once again. I want to look back here at this battle for 6th place because it is stacking up here. Check that 7th place now. Mark Walsh, Avery McDonald, 21.92. There's going to be contact there, and Matt Lacrosse is, I don't know how he didn't go around 4 wide through the dog leg. That's not going to work. 21 in the fence.
It was a ticking time bomb that finally went off. Well, as some unnecessary language by the number 21, there was some. That was big junk out of corner number 2. 4 wide through the dog leg, Tim. You know, even I know that won't work.
And the one car of William McCauley is going to be the driver that really opened the door there, I believe. He had the 31 of Paquette on the extreme inside. The 1 gets through there, the 21 and 54. The 1 car, I don't know. I think he might have went a little bit straighter into that dog leg. He knows the 31's the inside of him. Maybe he forgot the 21 was there. Maybe he thought he was going to clear the 21 going through the dog leg. But nevertheless, the 21 or the 1 gets into the 21. The 21 up into the path of the 54, and the 21 and 54 get contact. The 1 of William McCauley, who started this race in the pole position, and he was quick in the first half of this race, is going to have heavy left side damage to that race car, and he'll have to come on to pit road to get service. We've got a couple of drivers near the front of the field taking this opportunity to come down, including the 51 and 7 of Randall Falks and Dakota Ehrman.
Yeah, Dakota Ehrman's in for right sides go up on the number 7 machine. It's looking like it's going to be 4 tires for the ETV Live Chevrolet. Yes, 4 tires it will be. He came in the actually third position. He's going to get 4 tires. Sunoco fuel, he's out and away.
Looks like Dakota is going to be able to win the race off of pit road after the pit stop. It looks like he won it by a big amount, as Kevin Trozinski just now comes off of pit road. They will try and catch up and rejoin the field here and get themselves settled in position.
So we have just under 50 laps remaining in this race. Ryan Oates has scored his cheerleaders. Ramsdell going to come down here. No, he throws a little bit of a fake. Oates, Ramsdell, Hoffman, top 3. Then we have James Mullins and Mark Waltz in position number 5. Avery McDonald in 6 with a little bit of damage to the back end of that race car. Ted Granger in 7th. James Wenzel in 8th. Senzi in 9th. And Paquette is in 10th. And Max Paquette, a couple of cautions ago, started at the rear of the field, and now he's up to position number 10. We have 22 drivers scored on the lead lap in this race. It looks like Nick Parrott will be the lucky dog on that last caution flag, so he gets one of his 6 laps back. He's now 5 laps behind the pace. We have Dalton Baldwin 1 lap down, Matt Lacrosse now 2 laps down, Kenneth Reeder now 2 laps down. As we mentioned, Parrott is 5, and I believe everybody else behind him out of the race with Jesus Andrade. It looks like Ryan Poole is still putting around here in the Steel MX number 15. Gary Gagne is still putting around 11 laps down in the 03. I believe everybody else behind him is out of this race.
Yeah, you mentioned the guys who are out of the race. We mentioned actually a couple cautions ago that we had 25 on the lead lap. That's quickly diminished where we now have 22 on the lead lap after that last wreck. It's probably going to cycle down to a little bit less than that. But you mentioned Maxime Paquette. He has just cracked the top 10 after getting the end of the longest line penalty a few cautions ago as the lights go out on the pace car. I think he's got the car to climb back to the front, as we've now got, I want to say, 45 laps to go. So he's got time. He just needs to keep his nose clean so he doesn't get another end of the longest line penalty.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think if he can keep it clean and work his way through the field, he's definitely going to be a threat to pick up the win here as this thing winds down. And now that Matt Hoffman's got some fresher tires, he looks to be a challenge as he looks to restart in 3rd place here. And after early troubles in the race, Jeff Ramsdell back. He is going to restart on the outside of the front row. Ryan Oates going to elect to take the bottom side for the restart.
So it'll be Hoffman starting behind Ryan Oates. Ramsdell to the outside. This is going to get exciting. Oates in control. Green flag flies. And now the 40 going to follow the 38 through or attempt to 29. Ramsdell holding his own on the outside line. 40 and a 5 side by side. Here comes the 9 and Mark Walls. Walls has been quick, and it is going to be a threat for the win as we come down to the closing laps of this race. Top 5 for the moment, single file, 96 and 70 side by side.
Mark Walls completes the pass down in turn number 3 as we have a caution on the racetrack. Another one. We have a wreck in the dog leg. Shannon Segler is actually involved, number 12. It looks like he slid up and he actually blew his motor and probably had some fluid go on the tires. Collected Gary Gagne among a few involved, and that's ultimately what brought out the caution.
Yeah, that did not look pretty on the side of the 03 car. He looked to hit that inside wall pretty significantly. That might do it in for Gary. He's had a tough night here. It's not the first time he's been involved in a crash, and that car might not be able to hold anymore. That's a tough break for the 03 car.
Yeah, we look at Gary Gagne right now, the 03 car. He's 17th in points, and I know points racing's important. You pick up every single point that you can get. He's got, I believe, one driver in front of him that is out of the race, and actually that driver that I was talking about, Matt Lacrosse, is back out on the racetrack. Kenneth Reeder and Dalton Baldwin right now not on the racetrack. But you're 11 laps down. You've been involved in, I think, probably 4 or 5 cautions this evening. It may be time to pull it behind the wall. Heavy damage into the front of the 03. We'll see where he does go, but nevertheless right now scored in 28th place, 11 laps behind the pace. I can see where he's sinking at him with points, but it might be time for those admins and the race control to possibly look at start to put some of these cars behind the wall.
Yeah, and absolutely. NASCAR has a minimum speed you must meet in order to stay on the racetrack. iRacing does not have that. It'd be too hard to code and whatnot. But there's just racing etiquette. If you're dangerous out there going too slow to where you're in the racing groove and you can't really control your car to the best of your ability, then you might want to sacrifice the points and whatnot just to earn the respect of the others and know you're doing your part to make the racing environment as clean as possible.
Yeah, and one bad race won't overly kill you. It's still early in the season. It's race number 2. You can get away with having 1 or 2 bad races and still being able to be a threat for the championship when it comes down to the end of the season. But it looks like the 03 car is going to stay out onto the racetrack and stick it out just a little bit longer. And yeah, that's a pretty interesting development. He's going to stick it out here and try to continue on.
Interesting development on that last restart. You saw the 40 of Hoffman go to the inside and take that inside line. I'm sure Ramsdale going to start now on what we assume is to be the outside line. That 40 likes that outside line. We've seen it before. Have to see how these guys line up here. The one driver that I'm seeing that's dodged all the wreckage so far is that 9 car of Mark Walls. He's been quick. James Mullins has been quick in the 5. And look who's creeped his way back up into 8. That's Max Paquette. I think those 3 drivers are really the 3 drivers right now that we need to watch as we go through the end of this race. Yes, Oates has been quick. Ramsdale's dodged a lot of incidents in the back. And Hoffman's been quick as well. So there's a lot of guys to watch, but those 3 that I mentioned there, 9, 5, and 31, have been quick since we dropped the green flag. Those guys might be the drivers to keep an eye on as we go through here. Lights the top of the pace car off.
Yeah, they definitely have been quick. And Jeff Ramsdale, we mentioned him all race. Seems like a broken record, but he's earned it. He's missed some tough wrecks and has managed to keep his car cleaner than what he ended up after the first caution. He's sitting right now in 2nd position as the 38 actually changes it up this restart. He had been taking the outside lane. He's actually electing to go with the inside this lane. So it'll be interesting to see if Jeff Ramsdale can get a good enough start because we have seen the 40 performed a few restarts ago that the outside can work on the initial start. So it'll be interesting to see if Jeff Ramsdale can get the run and possibly take the lead.
Doesn't look like he's going to be able to do that. Ryan got to a great start, and he's going to open it up about 3 car lengths or so. Mark Hoffman and the number 40 going to make the change underneath of the 29, and Ramsdale's going to hold him off.
9 car painting the back bumper of the 40 as they go down into corner number 3 behind them, and side by side with the 5 and 70. And here comes the 31 of Max Paquette. Paquette looking at the number 70 as the 9 flashes the nose and the 40 in front of them. There's battles all over this racetrack on this restart. They know it's beginning to get go time here as the 31 and the 5 make their move on the 70 as the 40 of Hoffman falls back 1 to Walls.
Another caution's out on the racetrack. We'll have to see where it is. Oh, multiple car crash out of turn number 2. Terry Lane involved. Gary Gagne once again involved. Dakota, ETV's own Dakota is involved. We're actually going to talk to him this caution. Might simmer his spirits a little bit now, but Randall Falk's involved, Kevin Tronetsky, and among a few involved.
Yeah, it looked like Dakota was around the origin of that crash here as we take a look Looks as though the 73 of Kevin Trozinski just got in a little hot and got into the back end of the number 7 car, spinning him around, and caused an accordion effect behind, and some guys just couldn't quite avoid it. Oh, that's a tough break for the 51. He got into the side of the 73 hard, put him actually on his lid, and that 51 car, that was a fast car. Through the majority of the race, he was running just outside the top 5 through most of it, and looks like that's going to end his night. That was a big shot as the 73 car went up and over in turn 2.
Looking at the replay here, the 81 car gets heavy contact as he was trying to find a place to go and really couldn't get there. The 03 of Gagne, he spins around in the back as he tries to avoid the number 30. Way in the back of the pack was the 03 of Gagne. So chalk another one up on the 03's record this evening as he is involved in yet another incident late in the caution period, as the 38 and 29 will once again lead this field to green when we go back to green flag racing. But guys, keep in mind, we do have Mark Walls there as well now in the number 9. He's going to start on the inside of this next restart.
It'll be interesting to see what he can do here. He's been strong for most of this race, and now that he's back up towards the front, it'll be interesting to see what he can do.
We've caught up with Dakota Ehrman, recently involved in the last caution. What happened there?
Well, I went to the corner, and I kind of backed up a little bit early, gave everybody in front of me room, and the 73 came up, didn't know how to use the brakes, and turned me, just because that's a talent he's got, I guess. The whole field was wrecking all race. I started in the back. I tried to hide in the back all day to avoid the cautions. I finally got up front, had to pit because I got below the line, and once you get below the line, they're forcing you to pit now, so I had to go down pit road, went to the back, gave my track position, and got back with the stupids, I guess.
Yeah, without a doubt. It was a tough call there. It looks like he got into the back. He didn't send you around. You look like you had a strong car. You had been riding top 10 most of the race. You had recently cracked the top 5 before you pitted. What happened with the setup? Did it come in after the first few laps, or was it a short run setup? What was it?
Well, the thing about my setup was, in practice, we looked at the board. I was 4th. Qualifying, I was 16th. I completely missed qualifying. I just missed the line and lost a lot of the time. So I just started from pit road and was trying to miss all the wrecks because I knew they were going to be there. And I was just as fast as the leaders. William McCauley started up front and was running up front. I think he had probably the best car. He was kind of saving what he had, wasn't showing it. But I had the same setup he did under the car, and we were running kind of the same. And just got caught up. He got caught up in trouble speeding, and I got caught up in trouble with people just not knowing where the brake pedal is.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry for your luck, man. Better luck next time. Talk about who makes it happen for you.
Well, the guys at Godfather Racing, that's William McCauley and Jesus Andrade, helped me work on the setup. Randall Fox was, he kind of was there, I think, but it was a lot of guys that helped work on this and helped it go fast. We worked on it for over 2 weeks now, and this is the result we get. This is probably my last night here now. But ETV Live for being on the car, especially AC Radio Network, and you guys for coming out and doing this.
Thank you, Dakota. And that's Dakota Ehrman. As lights out on the pace car, we are coming to the green flag. Pace car rolls through 3 and 4. Jeff Ramsdell, inside line. The 38 actually goes to the outside line this restart. He gets a great jump, pulls away by 2-3 car lengths. Green flag in the air.
Rhino, it's clear, side by side behind him. Ramsdell going to try and clear a big wiggle there for the 43, wide for 3rd. Everybody stays clean and green. Big loss for the 40 there. He drops down to the 5th place. Single file now into turn number 3. Here comes the number 9 car closing in on the rear end of the 29, and he's bringing the 31 of Max Paquette. This is going to get good.
As the 9 goes to the inside of the number 29, the 5 laid the bumper to the 40 going down the last straightaway on the back straightaway. As the 5 tries to make the move on the 40, the 29 to the outside of Ramsdell. Sees the 9 of Walls to the inside of him, the 31 behind him, a Paquette, and it is going to close in this 40, the 5, the 96, and the rest of this field behind him.
Yeah, stack up indeed. Jeff Ramsdell now has the outside line over the number 9. 3 or 4 car lengths behind the leader. The 9 car's been strong all race long. He's finally cracked the top 5, looking for second now. Jeff Ramsdale's a little bit of a beat-up race car, as is the 9 of Mark Walls. As they go through the kink down the backstretch, 9 car pretty much has the 29 clear. If he sends it down in there just enough, he can get clear. As he slides up a little bit, it's going to be enough, however, to complete the pass, as he should be clear out of corner number 4.
Trying to clear off of 4, he does, and he's going to bring the 31. Well, he was trying to bring the 31 there. Now he goes. Max Paquette going to try and make the move underneath of the 29 once again. Paquette showing some of his strength here late in the going. We just hit the 30 lap to go mark, so he's charging his way up towards the front. Great battle between these 3 guys, and sitting up in front there, Ryan Oates is enjoying all of it. He is pulling away, starting to get a bit of a gap. Ramsdale made a bit of a slip-up. He falls back to 4th.
Yeah, the 29 got into the 9 and got it in line. The 31 makes the pass, and now the 5 back on the 40, nearly made contact going out of corner number 2. Did the number 5 on the 40 of Hoffman. The 5 is James Mullins. Mullins closing in, looking to the outside now as here comes the 96, looking to the inside.
That he does. He looks on right now as Mullins and Matt Hoffman, who finally took 4 tires at the 67 lap caution. James Wenzel looks on as they battle side by side at a corner number 2. The 5 car with that advantage as they head into the kink down the backstretch. He finally gets clear as they head down into corner number 3.
Single file racing here through most of the field. Looks like towards the back. Nope, they still stay single file. Actually, now behind the number 96, we got side-by-side racing with Brendan Nuffel trying to make the move on the number 92 of Michael 70. He cannot do it off of turn number 2. He falls back in line, and he's going to wait for another opportunity.
Senzi, one of those drivers that used a little bit of pit strategy to gain track position, currently in position number 8 as he has Knopfel looking to that back bumper, but looks like a little bit of the pressure has been relieved for the time being. We work lap number 100 at 125. Next time by 25 laps remaining as the 5 of Mullins chases down these 2 in front of him. Max Paquette trying to hold on Ramsdale as Walls is there on your leader, Ryan Oates. We're going to have a battle for the lead shaping up here.
Absolutely we are, as the 9 car gets a great run out of corner number 4. He's going to look to the inside actually right here as they head down to corner number 1. 38 sends it in as well. 9 car can't quite get there as they make a little bit of contact, not too much. 38 still has the advantage with a 2 car length lead. The 9 car definitely looks strong like he has all race long. If he can get the clean air, he'll be tough to beat.
Couldn't quite get on by, and that's going to reel in the number 31 of Max Paquette just a little bit. He's going to close in on the 9 and try to make something happen. Actually, the 9 gets a great run off of turn number 4, and he's going to close into the rear end of the 38. Not going to be able to make a move as they head into turn number 1. Going to try and see what he's got off of turn 2, down backstretch. Ooh, looks like the 38 got a little bit loose. The 9 going to make the move to the outside as they head into turn number 3. Can he get beside him? Yes, he will. Now can he get it to stick off of turn number 4? Side by side. Ooh, they got a little close. Looks like he's got the advantage coming off the line. Oh, and the 38 goes around and into the inside wall.
And that will bring out the caution as he is going end over end down the front straightaway. Everybody else, for the most part, avoids the 38. But Ryan Oates going to try to get this pointed in the right direction and see what he has, but it's going to be heavily damaged. And he'll have to come down pit road to get the, I'm sure, toe repaired on that race car as he whips it around the other way, and you can see it is dog tracking just a little bit on the FedEx number 38. So caution flag will fly on the front straightaway for Ryan Oates.
Yeah, tough break for Ryan Oates. He's been strong all race long, and it finally came to, wow, he tumbled end over end that whole front stretch, it seems like, as that was a very big impact. Thank God it's virtual sim because he would need to go to the hospital after that one.
Yeah, that was a nasty looking crash, and that's a tough break for him. He was running up front for the majority of this race and probably had a shot to win this thing, but that won't be happening anymore. And 73 gets into the wall there on the front stretch pacing. But yeah, the 38, he's that's pretty much going to seal the deal for him. He will not be able to contend for this one anymore. And looking up towards the front, this could lead to a very, very exciting battle. We got the number 9 of Mark Walls up front and Maxime Paquette, P2, on the leaderboard.
Yeah, I was going to say for the most part, everybody avoided the 38, but I didn't see the cars go through on the other side. I was watching the leader, the 29, the 5, Ramsdell and Mullins, who were running up front. They got contact, 29 and 5, both heavy into the front straightaway wall. The 40 piece of the spinning car of the 38 of Oates as he went by, and I do believe Wenzel in the 96 also got a little bit of contact, and I'm sure you guys saw that on the replay, but there's 4 cars there that were in front of this field that are now damaged, either out of the race or they're out of contention now with all the damage that they do have. Ramsdell stays out, and you can see the heavy left side damage to that race car. You see the 40 stay out as well, but I believe the 5 of Mullins is still on pit road getting damage repaired.
Yeah, and you mentioned Ramsdell's hard lick to the inside. I went back and watched that. That was a very hard lick. I'm very surprised to see that he did not take that number 29 machine to pit lane, because he's going to be way down on power with that much damage. He had damage before, but this actually did him in, I think. But we mentioned earlier about him possibly wanting to go to Vegas after the race. He might want to actually head back to North Carolina because he's had a very tough race, and his lucks finally ran out.
Yeah, it's been a rough ride for the number 29 machine of Jeff Ramsdell, and he's probably just going to try and pick up the pieces and try to figure out what he can do and just bring this one on home. He's definitely looking forward to leaving Phoenix, Arizona, and heading to Las Vegas Motor Speedway.
Lights out atop the pace car next time by will go green. We have 20 laps to go in this race, the 24 hours of Phoenix. It seems like it's drug on here, working 1 hour, 18 minutes of this race of 125 laps. A lot of cautions in this one, but we've seen the same guys up in front. But with these final cautions, Adam, do we see a guy like a Michael Senzi or a Brandon Knopfel or an Avery McDonald, guys we haven't talked about a whole lot this evening, maybe upset the apple cart here in the top 4?
You very might well see that, Tim, because these guys out front, it's now go time pretty much. We've got under 20 laps to go, so these guys very may well be in the catbird seat and look on to watch these crashes that might take place here in the next few laps. As the pace car ducks in, your leader, Mark Walls, gets a great jump from the inside line. He'll clear the number 31 of Maximum Paquette down in corner number 1.
The number 9 got a great start. Ramsdell was right there with him. He was side-by-side at the beginning of turn number 1. Paquette is going to clear now. He battles with the 40 car of Matt Hoffman, excuse me. Down into turn number 3. Ramsdell can't quite get it done. Paquette slides way up towards the wall. And we have a problem on the racetrack. 69 in trouble.
Nolan Sutton pointed the wrong way as he is pointed towards the wall. That is the Trojan KY number 69. That should bring up the caution flag once again. Indeed, it does. Pace car is out. And the 69, and you can see on that race car, Adam, he's been involved in his share of caution flags tonight, as is the 27. But it is the one car in front of them that does get tangled up first, and it's all by himself. William McCauley, your pole sitter, gets loose into the back straightaway wall. The 27 comes down into the 69, and that sparks off what is a 3-car incident, and almost the one nearly gets into the 69 as he goes spinning around in the back straightaway.
Yeah, actually the 27 went through the one car, probably did him less damage than it would have been, but the 69 was just an innocent victim there, had really nowhere to go. Looks like you mentioned, the one car just got loose. He has been his fair share of wrecks after dominating the early part of this race. We don't know what happened to him after that first caution, but he would have came out at least in the top 3, and he sat in his pit stall for an extra 45 seconds, and he's been trying to play catch up ever since, and has gotten involved in an amplitude of wrecks. So tough day for the number 1 machine as he sat on the pole. He's not going to win today's race, unfortunately, but he'll be looking to put this race behind him and move on to Vegas.
Yeah, that is a difficult way to wrap up this race. You start on pole and hoping for a good race and then run into some problems and doesn't turn out the way you want to, he'll be joining Jeff Ramsdale on the ride to Las Vegas. These guys are ready to get out of here and move on to the next one.
Looks like the 27 car of Brandon King, I believe that is, has been black flagged by the race officials, running in position number 12, and not sure what that was for. Not his doing on that caution flag, so Brandon King will be black flagged, and he'll have to serve that on the ensuing caution, which we will, or ensuing green flag run, check that, which we will go green with less than 15 laps to go in this race. Mark Walls and Max Paquette, your top two. Does the 31 have anything for the 9 here in these final couple laps?
We've seen McNamee up and down throughout the race. He's been very strong, as has Mark Walls, but I think the 9 car is going to prevail unless Maxime Paquette has something up his sleeves that we really haven't seen. Don't get me wrong, he's got a strong race car, but Mark's really been in a zip code of his own this race. Maxime got the early end of the longest line penalty and has recovered nicely, but his car might not be as strong as Mark Walls, so maybe a top 5 for Maxime Paquette, but it'll be interesting to see if he can make a move on Mark Walls.
Indeed it will, and once we get the green flag here, it'll be less than 15 laps to go to settle this one out. But yeah, we saw Max be really competitive and really strong in the beginning part of this race, but it seems that Mark might have a bit of an advantage over him right now. As the field doubles up, Mark is going to choose to go down onto the bottom side. He's been doing a really good job on restarts, especially on that last one. He got off to a great start and actually started to bring Jeff Ramsdale around the 31 as well.
So we'll see how this one finishes up. Mark Walls and the number 31 of Max Paquette. Jeff Ramsdale in third. Hoffman in fourth, and Brandon Knopfel has made his way into the top 5 after making a move on the number 92 of Michael Senzi. Granger, McDonald, Wenzel, and Gadet. Gadet in the 30, now making his way back up into the top 10 with 111 laps on the board, this time by the First Racing Ford Mustang pace car into the infield here, and Mark Walls on the hammer. Green flag flies, the 31 getting a push from the 40 down the straightaway. 29 did not go on the inside line. The 31 going to take second, and now the 40 and 29 are side by side for third.
Another great jump by Mark, putting 3-4 car lengths on Maxime Paquette at the 40, and Jeff Ramsdale actually makes slight contact down the backstretch. I'm going to be watching this number 29 car, as he was involved in a wreck before, as he gets a little bit tight. No harm, no foul there. He's going to actually clear the number 40, which is rather surprising than seeing him involved in that earlier wreck with the former leader, the 38 car. So I'm impressed right now with how Jeff Ramsdale is hanging on.
The number 92 of Michael Senzi is all over the rear end of the number 14. Ooh, a big shot to the outside wall for the number 86 of Brendan Knopfel. He is not going to be able to hang on to it, and they are crashing hard.
Knopfel goes around. The 8 car is involved in this one as the 3 and 73 get through that. The pace car will begin to roll again as we will have yet one more restart on this race. The GoPro number 86 involved, and that happened coming out of corner number 2. The 86 pancakes it into the fence, and everybody else just tries to avoid. Comes back down into traffic. The 30 and the 8 get together, and the 8 gets the 86 afterwards. It's another spatial awareness deal, Adam, coming down into traffic. Car might not have been able to steer, but he hits the wall again and ricochets off the wall down into the middle of traffic. Probably not the wisest idea, and you might have learned after the first 10 cautions or so in this race, coming down into traffic, probably not the greatest thing to do.
Yeah, it ended up collecting much more cars than it needed to. We've seen quite a few cautions this race. We got just under 10 laps to go when we go green flag racing. These guys just need to settle down a little bit, understand that yes, it is 10 to go, but just be patiently aggressive, because we haven't seen the greatest racing here with all these cautions, but they definitely have the ability. They just need to put it together there in these final races, or final laps.
Yeah, it'll it'll be quite the thing to see here towards the end. Hopefully we can get a green flag finish in. And I think it's going to be a really good battle between the 9 and the 31 for the crown. Those two seem to be the top of the field. The rest of the guys just kind of battling amongst themselves and trying to figure out what they're going to do. But I definitely think it's going to come down to the number 9 and the number 31 for this one.
Let's step away for a quick break. We'll bring you back to the completion of this race in just a few moments' time.
If you're a serious online racing enthusiast, you need Derek Spear Design, maker of high-quality, custom-built, and 50-caliber strong simulation racing products like button boxes, shifter pedals, component parts, and more. The advantage a championship sim racing driver needs. Rated 10 out of 10 by Inside Sim Racing TV. Check out his line of top-shelf sim racing products reasonably priced at DerekSpearDesigns.com and buckle in for a no-nonsense ride. DerekSpearDesigns.com today, cowboy.
We're back here at the Phoenix International Raceway with just under 10 laps to go. Lap 117 complete when we get the green flag. Green flag is out for Mark Walls as he has a 3-car length advantage over Maxime Duquette, with Matt Hoffman just behind him down in corner number 1. Matt Hoffman looks on, can't quite get under the 31 as he actually elects to go with the outside groove out of corner number 2.
Once again, the number 9 gets to a good start, but it doesn't matter. We're on the yellow once again. Jeff Ramsdale got turned to the outside wall, and we're on from there.
Ramsdale dodged a lot of wrecks earlier in this race. There's no way he's dodging this one as the 29 in the middle of the racetrack. There's 70, hits the wall, comes back down off, and gets into the 29. 70, 29 get contact in the back straightaway wall. Lots of air for those two drivers as we'll be under caution again, and we'll have one more restart to close off this race. The WSU Motorsports Quick Car Racing Products Cup Series, and if this was a real racing series, I'm sure the folks at Quick Car Racing Products would be really, really busy after this race.
That's an understatement, Tim. This race, in the nicest word you can describe it, eventful. It has been rather uneventful for your leader, though, Mark Walls. If I'm in his shoes after having to sit through all these cautions, I'm just wanting to get the heck out of here, get the win, and then just get on a flight and head out of here, not think about this race again, because this hasn't been the greatest show, but I think we're running out of time. It's looking like we're going to be about 2 or 3 laps green flag, and if the next caution actually will end the race.
Yeah, whether you're up front or towards the rear, when the race plays out like this, it can be frustrating for a lot of drivers, and we're definitely hearing a lot of them frustrated, and they're definitely ready to get this one done and over with. They're going to have less than 5 to go when we get the green, like Adam said, so hopefully they can keep their cool, keep their calm, and we can bring this one home under green, but you know, with the starts that the number 9 car has been getting, I don't think anybody's going to challenge him. If he can get up to one more good one, I think he's got this in the bag.
Yeah, we're hopeful to finish this race under the green flag, but we've seen a lot of accidents and a lot of excitement in the first 121 laps of this race, and I'm sure some of these guys will be gunning hard for those extra spots at the end of this race. And you look at these race cars through the field, and I know John's been working the cameras up there. I don't think there's one race car that does not have a scratch on it in this race. It looks like they've been through 500 laps at Bristol instead of 121 at Phoenix.
Ain't that the truth? If there is a clean car, John's actually in our ear. If there's actually a clean car out there, he's going to give out a free ETV mouse pad. So if you're watching this race and or if you are part of this race and you have a clean car, feel free to stop by the booth after the race.
A little bit of a reward for going through a lot of the troubles, and I don't know, guys. It looks like the 31 might be one of those clean guys.
Max Paquette was involved in an accident earlier. It looks like he has the damage repaired. I do see a little bit of a crinkle to the left rear corner of that race car. Lights are off. You go through this field, though, you see drivers with crinkles to their race car, whether it's on the front corner or the rear corner. The 40 car, I think, has a little bit of a ripple in the left front corner as well. So I don't think there's been a driver in this field that hasn't been involved in something in this race. And I'm sure there might be one or two more drivers involved in something in these last 3 laps as the first racing Ford Mustang pace car lights are off. We'll see who wins this thing. It's Mark Walls, Max Paquette, Matt Hoffman, Michael Sensi, Zach Godet, top 5.
3 to go when we get the green flag. It is go time, as Darrell Waltrip once said. It has actually been go time for a majority of these guys this whole race, as we've seen. But right now, Mark Walls, the number 9 car, is leading the field. He's looking to get another great jump. He's out and away. Actually, Maximum Paquette stays side by side with him this time. It'll be interesting to see if Maximum can get the run out of the corner, side by side down into corner number 1 rather. Maximum Paquette looks to use the outside line. Can he get clear of the number 9? It'll be questionable as they head to the dogleg.
It took him a couple of times to get the clue that Mark goes early. Max went early, now he's side by side with him into turn 3. Matt Hoffman enjoying seeing these guys side by side. It's allowing him to close in a little bit. Mark going to clear him off at turn number 4, 2 laps to go.
9 and 31, nose to tail. Max Paquette gives him the bumper in corner number 1, looking to make the move on the number 9 of Mark Walls. The 40 of Matt Hoffman looks on from position number 3, lap and a half to go as the 9 and 31 and 40. This is going to be between them. 31 to the inside. They'll look for the white flag this time by Max Paquette and Mark Walls. See the white flag here. 1 lap to go as the 9 and 31 work into corner number 1. The 40 to the outside. He's going to miss the corner. It's going to be a 2-car show in front for the win. Mark Walls and Max Paquette. Paquette looking to the inside through the dogleg. Nothing doing there. Half a car length between your top 2 as they work through the final couple of corners. Paquette throws it in on the 9. It's not going to stick in 3. Can he do anything in 4? Nothing doing. Mark Walls comes up to the checkered flag first, and he will win the Quick Car Racing Products round number 2 at Phoenix. Max Paquette comes home in second. Matt Hoffman brings her down for third. Sensi and Granger complete your top 5. And a green flag finish, guys, to a race that saw a lot of yellow flags.
That it did, but Maximum Paquette, he gave it all he had there at the end. They actually put on a pretty decent show to finish that. Brandon King finishes 6th. Zach Godet finishes 7th. Nolan Sutton, who involved in a few wrecks, finishes 8th. James Wenzel finishes 9th, and rounding out your top 10, you got the number 33 of Terry Lane.
The number 3 car of Nick Parrott going to finish in 11th. James Mullins in the number 5 will come home in 12th. The final car on the lead lap, Paul Madsen, Brandon Knopfel, and Jeff Ramsdale going to round out your top 15 as Mark Walls lights up the tires here on the front stretch.
As he lights them up, I believe we're going to step away for just a few moments' time. We're going to quickly wrangle up your top 3, and we'll be back with a very brief post-race show to talk to your top 3 drivers and get their thoughts on what happened here this evening. Don't go away. Post-race coming up.
listeners, we could hear everything from big 80s metal to classic rock and roll, country radio, ETV, live sports radio, even adult and unplugged rock and roll. HDRadioNetwork.com, one of the fastest growing internet radio networks, HDRadioNetwork.com. Take it with you, cowboy. Get the mobile app for Android, iPhone, iPad, and all the rest from TuneIn.com.
Welcome back to ETV Live and our coverage of the WSU Motorsports.net Quick Car Racing Products Cup Series. Once again, the sanctioning body for this evening's racing action, WSU Motorsports.net. Head over there and check out some great iRacing action. Your winner from this evening's race is Mark Walls. We're going to go down to Kyle Young in Victory Lane with your winner, car number 9.
Mark Walls climbing out of the car, and the Gatorade is flying everywhere. The number 9 machine of Mark Walls picks up the victory here at Phoenix. Mark, you got the victory here today. It was a bit of a brutal race, but you picked up the win, so it can't be too bad for you. Tell us about your race.
Well, started up top 5, beginning of the race. Pit strategy, definitely a big thing. 2 tires, no tires, people staying out. Came out about lap 40, mid-pack because of pit strategy. Decided to go all the way to the back of the field, ran pretty much last. Let the carnage begin and end, and worked my way back through the field and got back up there.
We saw towards the later stages of the race that you were getting quite the restarts down on the bottom side of the racetrack. Was that something you had practiced on earlier throughout practice, or was it just kind of a look of the draw thing and you were able to perfect it one time and stuck with it then?
Yeah, I think I got this restart down pretty good. Ran a lot of practice sessions, so worked on that a bit. But car turned real good in 1 and 2. I was able to stick it all the way down there, hit full throttle about halfway through the corner.
Got a lot of stickers here on the race car. Tell us who makes it happen for you.
Well, we got Wicked Chassis. That's my team that we run in official series. I got Rise Against, which is number 1 band, sporting them. Got Rockstar on it. You know, that's how we do it.
Your winner here today at Phoenix International Raceway, Mark Waltz in the number 9 car. Adam Gilliland has caught up with another one of our top finishers. Adam, take it away.
Yes, indeed. We've caught up with number 40 of Matt Hoffman. Matt, talk about your early strategy to not pit until the lap 67 caution. Was that part of the game plan going in, or were you making changes on the fly?
No, that was the game plan going in on the strategy, Adam. I decided, tough track for track position, passing is hard. There was a lot of yellows going on in the beginning of the race, so I figured maybe that it's going to last longer. I had a setup that was going to go longer in the run. I didn't have a really good setup when it came to short runs, so I said, you know what, let's try to use these tires up. Let's see what I could do on the long run. Stay out there, track position, and hopefully lead a couple laps. And, starting 22nd spot, and moving my way up there just by track position. There was a win in itself right there. What can you say? Mark had a great race, and he came through the field.
Well, you made a lot of passes on the outside in turn 1 and 2, especially on the restarts. Was your setup more suited for the outside line, or did you just prefer the outside line and the corners on the restarts?
Yeah, I mean, later in the run you could run that a little bit, but during the restarts, a lot of people would try to get down so hard to the inside and try to bottleneck themselves in the inside. So I've been practicing the whole time. If I start on the outside, let me see if I can find a groove there so I can maybe roll to the corner and get it better, and so they can't drive off the corner, off the low side, and they, I'll be up there. So I mean, it worked to my advantage a lot tonight, and I had the setup to turned just right when I needed to.
Well, congratulations on your third place finish. Talk about who makes it happen for you, Matt.
Tonight I didn't have anything on my cars. It was pretty much a empty car, but usually, we had to go to a backup car tonight, but usually I have SimPro Racing, SPR Live on it. They're sponsoring me in multiple leagues, and I race them here in the B League as well for the WSU. I got to thank WSU Motorsports for allowing me to race with them. Got to thank Tad a whole bunch, and I got to thank you guys, ETV, for broadcasting the race. Without you guys, I won't be able to talk to you guys. I won't have, be able to broadcast anything. It's great, and really appreciate everything you guys do for us at iRacing and everyone in all the leagues.
That's your third place finisher, Matt Hoffman. I believe Tim Terry's caught up with your fourth place finisher, Michael Senzi.
Yeah, couldn't catch up with second place. Max Paquette had some issues with his microphone, so we'll talk to fourth place, Michael Senzi. Michael, let's talk about the pit strategy, and it started off early in this race. The 92 was out in front more often than not, kept it in the top 10, and came home with a top 5 finish.
Yeah, first off, congratulations to Mark for the win. He had a really strong car all day, but coming into Phoenix, everybody knows that's going to be a pit strategy race. Cautions seem to fly more often than green, but early on I was going to make a couple of two tire stops, and then make one 4-tire stop, and then 2 tire stops throughout the race. Wanted to make one more pit stop, but nobody else was pitting, so I had to stay out and work with what I had.
Let's talk about those short runs that we had here. These restarts very, very key, and some of them very, very hairy. We go 2 and 3 wide on these restarts going into the corner. Describe being in the hornet's nest for most of this race.
Oh, it's definitely you got to be on your toes. With the setup that I had underneath the car tonight, it definitely took about a lap or two to really come to me. So those first couple laps, I had to be a little bit off the back bumper of the guy in front of me, feel it out, and then once I got a little bit of room, I was able to get up there and try to move my position forward. But just a great night overall for us. Fourth place finish. It's best in a long time for us.
Top 10 at Daytona, top 5 here. We move to Las Vegas. Can we continue the momentum next week?
I'm hoping so. Last year at Las Vegas, we didn't have too good of luck, but my schedule allows me to work on my setups a little bit more, get some more track time, so definitely be up front Las Vegas.
You got some sponsors on the car and a team that helps you get to the track each week. Who makes it happen for you?
Definitely need to thank E3 Spark Plugs for being on the car. Brandon Knopfel is my teammate at Michael Senzi Sim Racing, and we're the two that make it happen, making these cars get on the track every weekend.
That's Michael Senzi, driver number 92, comes home in position number 4. Guys, final thoughts before we go. We'll start with Adam Gilliland. A lot of cautions in this race. Not a bad finish for that 3-lap dash.
Yeah, definitely. It was an eventful race leading up to the final green-white checker, per se, if you want to call it that. But the leaders, they put on a great little show to finish it out. They kept it clean. Max did a great job keeping it clean, and had a good little battle for the win there. I enjoyed watching this race, and look forward to the next race.
Yeah, I mean, aside from all of the cautions, I mean, we did have some really good racing in there up towards the front of the pack with Mark and Max and some of the other top front runners, and the finish was absolutely phenomenal. A great way to end out a little hurt of a race, but it's Phoenix. Some of the shorter tracks can be a little bit of a hurt, but we did have some good racing, and it was a great way to finish off the night.
And once again, check out ETV Live for all the great programming coming up. RSR coming up tomorrow night. They're going to be a great race on here. And then, of course, on Wednesday, the Maritime iRacing League is here. Some great racing and, of course, great programming on ETV Live Radio as well. So stay tuned. Great racing action coming up for you here on ETV. That's going to do it for us here this evening. So for Adam Gill, Kyle Young, and John Wesley, my name is Tim Terry saying we'll see you tomorrow night when we say, let's go racing with the RSR series. Keep the hammer down and we'll see you at the track.